Hi kids, we're back again. I'm going to start this spot with a quiz, and the idea is you have to guess whether this person from the Bible is in the Old Testament or the New Testament. What about this person? Do you even know who this is? Yes, it's Abraham, and he's in the Old Testament. Well done. What about this scene where someone's riding on a donkey and people are waving palm branches? Yes, that's Jesus, the week before he was crucified in the New Testament. What about Joseph? Is Joseph in the Old Testament or the New Testament? Which Joseph, I hear you asking? It's this Joseph. Is he in the Old Testament? Yes, he is. Well done. What's our next picture? What about the Samaritan woman at the well? Is that story in the Old or the New? It's in the New. And finally, what about Jonah? Where would you go to look for this story? Well, if you've said the Old Testament, you're correct. But do you know our passage next week in Matthew mentions Jonah in the New Testament? I wonder why. I wonder by who. What I decided is I'm going to get you ready for next week, as well as teaching you how to do another Bible storytelling, and we're going to look now at Jonah chapter 1. Okay, so I'm going to teach you how I learned Jonah 1 by drawing the pictures that have helped me to remember the story. So Jonah chapter 1. God said to Jonah, "Go to Nineveh. Speak out against the people of Nineveh, because I've heard of their evil ways." But Jonah ran away from God to Tarshish. He caught a boat at Joppa and he fled from the Lord. God sent a huge wind and a big storm, and the boat that they were in nearly shattered apart. The sailors threw out the cargo to lighten the load. Jonah went down underneath into the below deck, and he went into a deep sleep. The captain came down and he asked a question and made a statement. The question was, "How can you sleep?" And the statement was, "Get up and ask your God, because he might save us." The sailors suggested that they cast lots to discover whose responsibility this was, and the lot fell on Jonah. The sailors asked, "Who's responsible? Who are you? Where are you from? What do you do?" Jonah said, "I'm a Hebrew, and I worship the God of heaven, who made the land and the sea." This made the sailors terrified, and they asked Jonah, "What did you do?" They knew he'd run away from God because he'd already told them. The storm and the waves got higher, and they asked a third question: "What should we do to make the sea calm?" Jonah said, "Throw me into the water, because it's my fault." The sailors didn't want to do that, so they rowed even harder and harder to try to get to the land, but the waves even became higher and worse. So they cried out to God and said, "Please don't punish us for doing this terrible thing," and they threw Jonah into the water. Immediately, the sea went calm. The sailors feared the Lord. They offered sacrifice to God, and they made promises to him. And God sent a really big fish that swallowed Jonah, and he was in the belly of the fish for 3 days and 3 nights. Jonah chapter 1.